Hello and welcome to the Author's Corner. My name is Marisa Bludor and I am your host, and I'm so excited to be here today to talk to you about this book that's being released. It's getting ready to be released. We're excited about its anticipation of it going live. And Dr. Hattie Washington is no stranger to the Own It magazine. And in fact, she's really Aunt Hattie, and she's really a amazing and high price, valuable asset to the Own It family. I want to read to you a little snippet of her bio so you know who's coming before you and taking center stage and owning it. Dr. Hattie Washington is an internationally recognized educator, award-winning author, and a pioneer in technology-driven learning. Over 30 years ago, she hosted the show Computers for Kids, bringing tech literacy to families across the DMV, the Maryland, Virginia, DC area before digital learning was mainstream. She launched after-school computer labs in churches and installed computer centers in her foster boys' home, aligning instruction with state standards, critical thinking, and learning styles. Taking center stage and owning it with me this morning is Dr. Hattie Washington. How are you?
Hello, how are you?
Listen, we are here for your new book.
Oh
We know
my
about
goodness.
your book, Driven to Succeed.
Yes, yes.
Your cookbook. And now you just found it in your heart that you really need to advocate, provide a resource and a toolkit for teachers as we enter deeper into this age of technology. And the book that we're here to discuss this morning is the AI Toolkit for Teachers, Made Easy: 10 Simple Strategies to Save Time, Personalize Learning, and Empower Every Student to Succeed, even if they are not tech savvy. And so you and I, we had these conversations in regards to the importance of giving back, legacy work, making sure that no child is left behind. We talked about that too.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm going to go deeper into it. First, I'm going to do this, and then I want you to segue into that. So first, I want you to say, what's on your mind this morning? We're getting ready to launch your book. You've been here before. What's different about this particular project?
This project is different because when I wrote my first book, it's straight writing, and it's poured out my heart in the memoir. And it was still lessons learned that I wanted to share with someone else. But this toolkit book, I got live links in the book whereby teachers can immediately go to that link and personalize learning for her kids. And these links are free for the most part. And I say for the most part because everything free ain't free. So when you go into those free tools, you're going to get some commercials and some ads, and you just have to skip over them, just say click, skip, and then get right back to it. And then they're going to try to sell you the next level because you started with the basic when you were starting with free. And then you want to get the advanced, and no, the basic is good enough for what you're trying to do. You're not trying to become a computer engineer.
Right.
So the basic is just fine for you to teach those kids. And so I just felt compelled teaching teachers over the years and mandating that they do technology when they did a presentation in my class at the university. And I remember them saying, "Oh, Dr. Washington, I just don't want to learn it. I've got tenure and I don't really have to learn it because, I'm going to be retiring in 5 years and I don't really have to learn it." I said, if you're in my class, you're going to learn it. When you do your presentation, I want a PowerPoint presentation. I want storyboard, whatever, but you're going to add some technology. And I developed a sheet for the other students to do peer assessment. And on the sheet was, did they use technology? Did they use measurable objectives?
Right.
Did they use class interaction? So I developed my own sheet. And because they did so well with technology, once you force them to do it, then they got with it. And it's like, wow, Washington, why didn't you make us do that when we were undergrad? So, but anyway, I just felt during COVID, when I have a lot of my grad students calling me and say, Dr. Washington, I don't know what to do. I'm out of ideas. I got this one computer. Some of my kids don't have computers, and what do you do? So on my website, I have a section called mental gymnastics and brain teasers on my website under media. And I developed that during COVID because of my students and their kids. So I just felt, let me put all of this together and link them to the standards. Every state has what they call core standards.
Right.
And that's what the kids are tested on grade by grade by grade. And if you don't pass those core standards, then you may or may not graduate. And believe it or not, the 12th grade standards are really on the 8th grade level.
Right.
So you really, if you pass them, you're still only on the 8th grade level in the 12th grade. So my book is going to have no kid left behind. I want teachers to strive for 100% efficiency and efficacy. And they can do that because with the individual tools that I've given them, they can assign a kid a subject and that kid can do his thing. It self-checks the kid, praises the kids, and they can catch up if they're behind, because most times they are. So I'm just so excited about being able to introduce it to the teachers and to be able to follow up later if I have a teachers meeting or something, come and say to the teachers, now, this is really how you use it. These are your state standards.
Right.
How do you relate those to this learning styles, the higher critical thinking, because it's a process book. It's not necessarily a what.
Right.
So you can use this for any subject you're teaching, any grade level you're teaching, and they will be able to see that as they started teaching algebra and 2 + 2. It's a process book with using visual learning, auditory learning, kinesthetic learning, and what level of thinking are the kids on? Are they still on the rote memory level? Or are they on the awareness level or the comprehension level, the analysis and the evaluation? And you have kids all up and down Bloom's taxonomy level. And so teachers got to orchestrate teaching in the classroom. You just can't be teaching to the middle and leave the lower ones behind and forget about the gifted because they already know it. So you don't need to worry about them, but yeah, they're getting bored.
Right. Yeah.
So, but the toolkit is going to reach everybody. And I'm just so pleased to be able to put strategies in there that teachers can use, not only the free tools, but strategies that are measurable that she can use for herself and then use them for the kids.
Yeah, yeah. Let's put up the book. Let's see what that book looks like. Oh my God, it's so exciting, brilliant colors. It really just shows that to embrace the AI, to embrace the tool that's designed to help you. And we talked about it. It's like, I remember when people began to start talking about Chat GPT, and my younger sister, Judy, in fact, she was the first one to mention it to me. And I'm like, Chat GPT. She's like, oh my God, it's amazing, blah, 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 blah. And this was years ago. And because I, at the doctoral level, you're writing paper, you're doing research. And so I'm used to writing. I am so used to writing. It's no issue for me to write. I am passionate about topics, and I can write. So for me, at first, it was like, I'm using no AI tool and da-da-da-da-da. Well, guess what? It really is there to help you to become more efficient, work smarter, not harder. We talked about that in the 80s. Work smarter, not harder. And it's like, how do you work smarter, not harder, when your resources are limited, right? When the knowledge, resources can be there, but the gap in performance and how you're showing up is, do you have access to the resources? Then when you do have access, do you know how to utilize them and maximize their potential for you to improve your performance? And so when you begin to think about things like that, now I'm like, oh my God, Chat GPT, I love it, because it's not that you are no longer, like your book says, it's not here to replace the teacher. It's here to help enhance the teacher's performance.
Absolutely.
And then also to give back the teacher critical time that is consumed with doing this methodically, right? This takes off
Absolutely.
of that heaviness, and you can maneuver and move more fluidly when you have these kind of tools. And so I know that this is going to really be a benefit. As the background and supporter of what you're doing, we get to see the inside of the book and to
Yes.
see all of the resources that is designed. And remember to keep this in mind. It's a toolkit. It's
Yes.
designed to help you to enhance your teaching and the students' learning experience. And so what's next? Like, okay, here we're going. Oh, and people, we want to make sure that once we are live, we
Yes.
need your support in making this a #1 bestseller. And so make sure that
Absolutely.
you're on the lookout for the posts that are be coming this later on today, throughout
Hmm.
today and tomorrow. Look out for the post that has the link that will you are able to click on and purchase the ebook of this first. It'll be
Right.
ebook format first and then paperback. And I believe you're going to hardcover and all that
Hardcover
good stuff. I
and the
think you're going to
Audible.
put
We're
it
going to do the Audible, and we're going to translate it into Spanish, French, and German because this IA is international.
Yes, it
And
is. Yes,
so
it
if we
is.
can translate it and let people see how important, like you're in Dominican Republic.
Mm-hmm.
So we have teachers over there,
Yes.
they want this as well, Mexico. So we want to
Yes.
be able to reach as many people as possible. But you said something that was important about AI and chat GBT the prompts.
Yeah.
If you give a kid a paper and a pencil and say, write me something, well, the kid may be there for 2 hours. It can't think of anything. It's
Right.
like, well, I don't know how to start. And that's wasted time, wasted instructional time. But if you give them a prompt or something on, on the chat GBT or AI and just get them started. I've had some of my foster boys, before we knew about AI, you give them an idea and they just run with it. And they
Yeah.
think of other things and they think of other things and they think of other things. And before you know it, it's like, I thought you couldn't think of anything.
Yep.
So that's what the chat GBT and AI is, to help kids prompt what they call receptive knowledge. They may not have expressive knowledge yet because it's all jumbled up in the head.
There you
But when
go.
you give them those prompts and those graphic organizers, which organizes the information they know, then they're going to give it to you. They're going to feel good. They're going to be happier. And then you're going to find out that this kid is not special ed. This kid
No.
is going to be in the gifted class. And teachers are
Right.
going to be happier when they have kids to have that aha moment. And that's what teachers look for when kids say, oh, I see now. Oh,
Right.
I got it now. And they're
Yes.
going to be doing that more and more and faster because teachers now are going to be able to reach them where they are and
Right.
then let them not just move 1 or 2 steps ahead. They're going to move up to grade level and beyond. That's my goal,
Yes.
is to let them move beyond grade level.
Yeah, this is beautiful in the sense that it taps into and unleashes unlimited potential, right? It really,
Yes.
really does that because sometimes it's not that you don't have creativity or you don't have the ideas. You need someone to help you to pull them out.
To
And
pull
then
it out.
once,
Yes.
yeah, and once they come out, that's why it's like I shared earlier is that I know how to write. I write boom, 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 13 books. I wrote them. And when I say to you, because I share with you, I type 120 words per minute. So for me to sit and just go, come up with my thought on a matter, because that's really what writing is about. It's about you
Mm-hmm.
having a thought about something and
Uh-huh.
either sharing it through fantasy, reality, futuristic. It's however you want to express that thought,
Right.
but it comes from a thought. And what I know that AI does for us is that it helps us win, because I know me, I get real excited. And so it's like, boom, everything is coming and hitting me at one time. And what AI does is helps you to organize those thoughts It helps you where coaches or mentors or get stumped and can't get you over over that hurdle
Yes.
of what is it? What is it? Um, but one thing about AI is you got to know how to ask it the questions, right? And that's where our intellect comes from.
That's
Our
right.
intellect comes from we know what to ask it in order for it to give us what is in alignment with our authenticity. So, I love it. The AI toolkit for teachers made easy.
Yes.
Talk about the simple strategies, like share with us in closing. Are these strategies really simple? Or are
Yeah.
they
They
easy to
are,
follow?
because the strategies are actionable. They're measurable. So all of them start with a verb that's an action verb. And one of the things I found when I was assistant superintendent, teachers try to get students to respond to the words like understanding. How much did you understand what I said? Did you appreciate what I said? That's
Right.
not measurable. You got to use action words. What do you want them to do? You want them to work so many multiplication problems with the 90% proficiency. Out of 20, you want them to get 18 right with the 20% or 90% proficiency. They can measure that. But just to say, my kids now understand math, what does that mean? So I'm teaching them all of my 10 strategies are measurable and actionable. And then at the end of the chapter, I have brain teasers just to test, did you really understand this? And it's a fun brain teaser that the
Right.
teachers can use for themselves or they can give to the students to do. So it's a twofold purpose: teaching teachers how to use AI, then teaching them how to use AI, which is part of Bloom's taxonomy. Now that you know it, how do you now apply the process to help your students with the what? The content. And
Right.
because you have at the beginning of each chapter, I have a measurable objective. And when under each chapter, I have the strategy, there are 10 strategies. And I have a strategy under each chapter that aligns with the content of that chapter. And then I also have the free tools in that chapter that they can use for that measurable objective that go along with the strategy. So I try to make it as step by step by step, as clear as possible. Then I got further sample lesson plans in the back of the book. I show teachers how to measure your lesson plan. Is the kid a visual learner? Is he an auditory learner? Is he a kinesthetic learner? But then put that in your lesson plan and put the kid's name beside it, that John is a visual learner. Now you're still teaching content,
Right.
but you're orchestrating all of your kids that this kid is on the awareness level. This kid is on the application level. This kid is already knows it. So I'm gonna use him to work with this one. So you're orchestrating all of that. But the tools that I give you, you can plug in the kid's name where you think they are and let them do their thing as you are moving forward with the content. So I feel like I need to do a seminar just to make sure the teachers understand. We put in the beginning of the book how the book is organized and
Right.
what are the visual steps and what are the Bloom's taxonomy critical thinking. But I feel that I wish the schools would call me and say, Washington, would you just take a minute and go over what the teacher needs to be? And I have what I call 3x3x3 plan that I
Right.
want them to be able to do. But I'm quite excited, and I think I'm going to write a workbook to go with it that the students can just use the workbook. I have a workbook in the back of the book,
Right.
but it's a combination for the teacher and the student. But I want to do one for the student whereby they can work in it, and I want to take that same workbook and have it as an app
Mm.
whereby they can pull up the app. And I have someone helping me with that now out of Arizona that was introduced to me by Sabine.
Right. Right.
Yeah, his name is Lamar. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So we're going to do an app. As soon as we drop this, he's going to look at the book and see how it's organized. Because
Mm-hmm.
I don't want just an app. I want it to be interactive with the kid himself or herself. and interacted with brothers and sisters and mothers and fathers, whereby they can say, let me see what you're doing. Oh wow, that's a good, oh my Lord. Let me younger brother come and do this. He's
Yeah.
doing multiplications and you over there doing fractions and you don't know multiplication yet.
Right.
You're doing fractions and you don't know multiplication. Well, that's why I don't like math. But no, 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 we don't like math.
Right. And that's another way of also too uh working with the kids to get them open, right? Understanding how they learn is
Mm-hmm.
critically important.
Yes.
We talk about leadership in LMX. LMX is leader member exchange. Well, we can look at TMX, teacher leader TSX, teacher student exchange, because what that really focuses on is how connected is the teacher with the student. And
Yes.
you say that to put those notes in there so that
Mm-hmm.
they're conscious of their students when they're in front of them. And then putting them next to the learning style, that's being strategic and intentional. That's actually influencing the teacher to be more intentional with getting the results that she's looking for, right? She or he is looking for in the classroom. And ultimately, it really goes to how much does the teacher want to make impact and lasting change, because that requires them to do more work, to be more present in the moment,
Mm-hmm.
to be looking at her students or his students and saying, okay, now I have to shift. And it's
Yes.
not that you can't do it. It's like you said earlier, how open are we to making the adjustments so that our students are able to succeed long term? Because if we have a mindset as a student that we don't like a particular subject, we are closed now. We're closed in
Absolutely.
our heart to learning. So when the teacher begins to talk about the topic or the subject, automatically we go into ears off. I'm done. I'm good. I just want to
Mm-hmm.
get by.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, as we close out, I didn't realize how much of a high level performer I was as a kid. I did not know that. I'm not knowing that until now. And I would have never known it even at this point had I not taken a journey that was so unconventional to so many, to really see how how much of a high level achiever I
Mm-hmm.
actually am. And it's because of, and this is not to place blame, we're analyzing, we're assessing, we're evaluating. That's what this
Right.
is. So many people say, well, no, you don't want to blame. No, we have to assess in order for us to address the issue. And so
Right.
a lot of times teachers are, or anyone of influence or authority, if they're not consciously taking an opportunity to seize the moment to make a major impact in a young person's life, that will change how their lifestyle,
Mm-hmm.
because we know
Mm-hmm.
that education is also gives you the opportunity to have whatever lifestyle you choose, because more knowledge is more power is
Absolutely.
more influence, and knowledge, wisdom, and proper and influential decisions that we make. And
Mm-hmm.
so with that being said, you're actually influencing teachers to step up their game and to be more conscious of not only their ability to teach, but their ability to actually make measurable, lifelong impact, right?
Yes.
And
That they
change
can.
in the student's life.
But I was surprised when I was teaching university. Many of my teachers had gone to college, and when we were taught, they were not writing measurable objectives. They were
Mm,
using those Weezer words. I call them Weezer words. You like understand, you understand math, you appreciate social studies. Okay. Then I ended up training all my principals and all of my teachers when I was assistant superintendent how to be instructional leaders. I want principals to be instructional leaders, not administrators, because the custodian and the secretary can run the school as the administrator. I want them to walk in the classroom and demonstrate to the teachers what they're supposed to do. If you can't demonstrate them, then why are you evaluating them?
Mm-hmm.
And then you require them to have measurable objectives. So I taught my principal how to look for all of that. But what two things I want to say quickly. Our kids are already tech savvy.
Mm-hmm.
They were born in the technology age. Many
Yes.
of our teachers went to college like 20 years ago, and they resist technology. So what I'm saying in the book, you teach the content, but if you take one of those tools that I'm putting in here and let one of your kids figure it out for you, they will love it. And they
Wow.
will, you say, Miss Brown, this is what you do here, blah, blah.
Yes.
My son said to me once when I was saying to Wayne, how do you know how to do a team view and you working my computer from across town with the mouse? Well, Ma, he says intuitive, like
It's
intuitive.
expected. Mm-hmm.
So kids pick up. So I'm saying in the book, teacher, you got the content to teach, and you got the literacy to learn. Let those kids get introduced to the literacy. Don't wait until you learn it before you use it for the kids.
Right.
Let them say, "Oh, Miss John, oh wow, this is such and so. I can do this, and I can use this and show another kid." Don't be afraid to say you don't know, because
Right.
kids will catch on to it just like that. So that's one thing. The second thing, I have one of my strategies where we want to reach the SEL students, which stands for social emotional learners. Many kids in your classroom got problems. They have low self-esteem.
Mm-hmm.
They're not happy. Whatever going on at home or whatever the reason is, these are the quiet kids sometimes. Or they could be the bullies, blah. So those are the kids that you got to help too while you're teaching math and science and reading. Those are the kids you see all of a sudden people say, I thought it was a little something about him. I thought he would act strange. He was a loner. I teach teachers how to orchestrate friendship. I teach them. You got a kid alone over there in the corner, nobody. I teach them how to orchestrate friendship and use the word friend 3 times. I come up with a little game and blah, blah, blah. And when you stand up and talk, you talk about each other for 2 minutes. And then you say, tell me about your new friend. Give me 3 things. Well, he did this and he lives over and blah, blah, blah. I don't want 3, but I want you to say friend 3 times. And this is my new friend, blah, blah, blah. And so by the time you go through that exercise with the students, they go home and tell the parents, Ma, I got 3 friends today.
Oh.
Because you have orchestrated friendship.
Right. And
it's not reading, writing, arithmetic. That's that SEL, social emotional learner, that you got to pay attention to while you're teaching all. So in the book, I pay attention to that. And I want teachers to pay attention to that as well. So I can just go on and on because I'm so happy that I'm trying to wrap it around like a wraparound approach.
Mm-hmm.
And the teachers this is the book that you don't just read and put it away. You come back to chapter 6, talking about lesson plans. You may come back to chapter 2, how to assess kids on the receptive level.
Mm-hmm.
And you are teaching on the expressive level. Or you're testing on the expressive level and the kid is on the receptive level. And so I teach them how to first be aware of what level the kids are on, called PLOP, present level of functioning. And prior, not KWL. What do they know already before you start teaching? Yeah. What do you want them to know? That's their measure objective. And then at the end, what have they learned? So the KWL approach. And I'm not being too technical because I don't want it to sound like a textbook, but it is still those concepts and pedagogy that teachers need to know what they're doing so you know what to call it. I thought about my first grade teacher back in the country, 2-room schoolhouse, when they closed the schools down in 1959. Everything I learned in college, when I thought back, Miss Brown was doing reciprocal teaching. She was doing think, pair, share, where she would let us work with each other. And I'm thinking, wow, now I went to college. Now I know what they call it when she was teaching in the country.
Right.
and a schoolhouse. So that's, I want my kids to be able to call it something, teach, be able to call it what it is, no metacognition. You know, this is what it is. No self-actualization. This is critical
Yes.
thinking. So as you are doing it easy and it's fun, I want you to be able to explain what is it that the kid just learned, and now he's teaching to someone else because he knows what he knew, how he knew it, and that he knows it. That's metacognition.
Yeah.
So I'm throwing in the terms and in the glossary in the back, but at the same time, I want you to not get bogged down on what you're calling it right now. Just do it. And
Yes.
when it works, you can go back and say, oh, that was metacognition I was doing. Oh, that's critical thinking I was doing. Oh, the BAKT I was doing.
Right. And proficiency and learning the language, it comes in time. It comes over repetition of time.
Yes.
And then the more knowledge that you have, which is proficiency. So closing us out, Dr. Hattie, how are people to get in touch with you? How are they connect with this book launches? We're waiting for Amazon to bring it live. The minute it goes live, we're going in on the bestseller. We're going to be celebrating on the 4th.
Yes,
we will have bestseller status. We're going to be independent on a whole nother level.
Yes, and it's celebrating the independence of teachers and all this paperwork, and independence of teachers and the freedom of teachers to spend more time with the kid. So we got our own definition for the 4th of July, because Juneteenth is past, but we celebrate freedom in Juneteenth all year long. So I want them to understand, you know, why are we celebrating on the 4th, and what are we celebrating? You know, people went to school to be a teacher because they love kids. But after a while, they get burnt out and say, I can't wait, TGIF. And that's on Monday morning. They're saying, can't wait for Friday. That's not why you went to college. You didn't go for the pay, because you spend more money on your kids than they pay you. So I want teachers to get back to working smarter, not harder, have more time they can spend with those darlings that you have in your class, and give them that extra hug. Give them that extra word pat on the back, because now you have time to do that, because you're not bogged down in the IEP reports and all kinds of lesson plans that you got to do, because you're going to have help with your tools that I'm giving you in the book.
Awesome. Awesome. This has been it's always a treat, and we always have more to talk about. So
yeah, always
looking forward to that. Looking forward to
having the website. You want the website?
Yes, go ahead. Give us the website.
www.AI, the number 4, teachers.com. www.AI, the number 4, Toolkit. AI Toolkit, number 4, teachers.com.
All right.
And then, of course, the old one, they all go together, come together. Driven, the number 2, succeed.com, which is after my Driven to Succeed book.
And I have that book right here too.
You got that, and you got the cookbook.
I got the cookbook. I got the Driven to Succeed. See, I got you right here next to me.
Yes.
Yeah, and so my daughters have the cookbook too. I got them the cookbook.
All right. Look, as soon as we get this launch live, I'm going to get something. I'm going to cook something, and we have to celebrate. You have to come down so I can cook for you.
Yes, they really enjoy it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to drop some pounds so I can gain some pounds.
You know what? So I should have put a recipe in the back of the book and the lesson plans with it. I use that for math for my foster boys. We making something the recipe calls for 4.
Listen, the beautiful thing about self-publishing is, Auntie, you can still do that. So listen, we love you guys. It's been good. Listen, we are going live. We're going live, and we need your support. So be on the lookout for it.
Watch for it. Yes. It's going to go live sometime today or this evening. So we're going to send out a blast.
Yes.
And so just watch for and get how much is it's $2.99
for the ebook.
Yeah, for the ebook. And then after the campaign is over, it's going to go up to either $12.99 or $14.99. We got to come up with the price for that, because this is a lot of work in this book. So we have to see what Amazon recommends.
Yes. They'll go from there. All right, you guys, we love you so very much. Be on the lookout. And we're so excited. Also, be on the lookout. Come and celebrate with us on July 4th. We're so excited.
July the 4th will be right back here at noon on July the 4th.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much, and God bless you. And if there's any way you want to contact me, you can go to my website, and I'll be happy to come and teach or do a speech or seminar for your school district, because I want all superintendents to get a book for their teachers.
Amen.
That's what I really want them to do. Yeah. But if you wait on the superintendents, you know, you may be waiting a year or two. So get it for yourself and get a reimbursement
later on.
Yeah.
Take care. We're out.